Jail space for migrants along the southern border, but questions remain over his plan to crack down on border crossings. Here to talk about this is immigration attorney Thomas Esparza. Thank you so much for joining us.
Rebecca, thank you very much for having me back. It's been a long time with this COVID and all.
It's been a while. Governor Abbott says the state plans to detain and prosecute people who cross the border. What charges could migrants be facing, and does the state have the right to do this, or is this federal jurisdiction here?
Well, so the state's not going to put federal charges. The feds aren't going to want, the county sheriffs and all these folks from these other states trotting up to the United States Marshal's office saying, hey, we've got this guy entering illegally. They don't have time for all of that. There's already a process. So I'm thinking it's going to be criminal trespass. I guess, or criminal mischief. These folks have traveled 1,000 miles. And so walking through a little bit of cactus, is not something they're going to be afraid of. And, and criminal mischief, near as I can tell, they're going to be destroying cactus. So I guess if those charges stick, that would be. I don't really know. I've talked to a couple of criminal law specialists in Austin, and they're not really sure what's going to be. Maybe evading arrest, maybe running. But, I think these women and children that have come this far are going to think that the opportunity to be in a warm jail with food and maybe a chance to be safe and not have to worry about being raped or stolen or murdered by smugglers. I think they're going to be very happy, as far as that's concerned. It just boggles me. And there's counties that aren't even close, who are having a border crisis. Midland County, really? And that's 300 miles away? Or Gonzales County? Is there a crisis at the border of Gonzales that needs help? Holy moly, I have no idea what they're going to do. Criminal destruction of a watermelon. That's got to be what it is. Or maybe unlawfully crying over onions in Live Oak County. I just don't get the crimes that the governor wants to prosecute. This is not a crisis that just happened the last few years. This is something that started way back in 1904 when Teddy Roosevelt declared that the United States had the right to exercise an international police power in Central America, in Latin America is what it's called. And since that time, there's been, we've stepped on 3 or 4 rebellions. We've supported 7 coups, a couple of wars, the Green Beret War in Guatemala and a secret covert CIA program in Guatemala. But the worst thing that ever happened to those countries that deprived them of any hope of ever getting any kind of solution was CAFTA, which is a Central American Free Trade Agreement. And that basically said the United States can export all of our industrial and commercial goods to those 3 countries duty-free. So we created impossible conditions for their domestic industries to be able to compete with us. That's why there's no jobs.
Okay. Well, let's bring it back to Texas. Let's bring it back to Texas. Okay, before this border security plan, how did the legal process play out for different groups, such as undocumented immigrants or smugglers?
Well, generally undocumented immigrants in the last 4 years with the former guy were pretty much in a lot of trouble. We had very negative judges, very negative people working within Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Customs and Border Protection. They were entitled to bonds if they were eligible for relief. But not all judges believe that every foreign national was eligible, for a bond. Some people are golden. It's not reported, but there's 18,000 Venezuelans have entered the country through the port of entry at Laredo, seeking asylum in the United States. That's 1/10 of all the undocumented people who've come to the United States.
All right.
The others have been through the process. Some have been stuck in Mexico. Now they're going to be able to come back. Others, because of COVID protocols, they were sent back. Some have been held as material witnesses against the smugglers. Some were raped and murdered, and then they died, and that was the end of that.
It's a very complex,
the smugglers, they get prosecuted.
Very complex issue, but we are running out of time. I wish we had more time to talk this through, but I do appreciate you, Thomas Esparza, for sharing your perspective with us tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Stay safe.